Hello friends, in this session we are going to see critical reasoning. Now these are the important questions if you are giving banking exams. In pre-exams, there might not be question, but in mains exam, there will be definitely 3 to 4 questions in any banking, be it clerk, be it PO exam. But RBI grade B, you will have 3 to 4 questions in our pre-exam because there are total 80 questions in the race. So if you see on a scale of 80, 3 to 4 question, and that too when the cutoff is as low as 20-25. It is not many, but considering the reason behind why these questions are put, what is expected out of you is they want to check your thought process behind how you make the decisions. And if you study enough, if you do practice of the critical reasoning, that definitely is going to help you at the time of then GT, GD, PI, etc. Okay, that is why these questions you should do practice for. Now, my personal experience is if you directly go into the examination hall and try attempting this question, then also you can get 50%, at least 50% of the question right. And sometimes you can get wrong as well because it is not a formula based question. It's not that this is the formula and if you apply it, definitely you'll get the answer. What is your thought process? What is the thought process of the question maker? It might differ in some ways. That is why there are two only suggestions that I can give you. First is try as many questions possible before you go to the examination hall, because then only you come to know what exactly expected out of you, what kind of thought process you should have while solving these questions. And secondly, you have to put yourself in the position of a manager or officer who is going to make decisions for organization. You are not going to make your personal decisions, or you are not some ordinary citizen whose decision making doesn't count. You have to behave, or you have to have the thought process of a person who is going to make decision that is going to affect the lives of others. Let me give you a very small example. Say a statement says, if a person is a drinker, chronic drinker, he should be punished or he should be put in isolation so that he doesn't get to drink, or there should be some serious punishment for that. So if you have some past experience which have caused you misery out of this drinking habit of anybody else, then you can have this thought process behind that, yes, person should be punished seriously. But as a manager or as a person who is going to decide for many of these, you have to know that there are things like withdrawal symptoms. There are other things also that counts. So you can't just have serial punishments. And if a person is drinking, is harming himself, but not the others, why should he be punished as a same punishment as the person who are harming others? So that means you have to have a cogent mind. Only thing is you have to put yourself in the role of the manager or a decision maker. That's what only I do when I give exams, and very rarely I get the questions wrong without even having not much knowledge of the critical reasoning. I can get these questions correct, and that is what we are going to do. We are not going to discuss much theory behind. I'll show you 2 or 3 slides where there is a definitions there, where there is a terminologies which we are going to meet, but that is just as a theory part. Mostly you have to do is the practice. So let's quickly see the theory. So what critical reasoning is? Critical reasoning is the ability of a candidate or a person to imagine, conceptualize, and scrutinize the question, to evaluate it and form a conclusion. Critical thinking questions are formed in such a way that they test the candidate's thinking ability and logical skills to reason the arguments. So it is all about reasoning the arguments. As I said, you have to put yourself in a position of a manager in front of whom his employee are putting the arguments for a decision in agenda. So if you have some agenda that should we do this or not for our organization, so there will be different people putting their arguments. So you can't be just biased towards something. You have to properly see it as an arbitrary. There are different types, as you can see: strengthen the arguments, weaken the arguments, supply the argument, supply the conclusion, paradox question. There are different type of questions, and what to be done in what kind of questions, it is mentioned here. So you can just go through it once. And these terminologies that you will come across: arguments, what arguments are, conclusions are, facts are, what assumptions are, what inference are. So again, as I said, theory really doesn't matter. In fact, it makes it only worse. So I'm just showing you because of the books. Books also has this, so I'm telling you. But as I said, as a personal experience, I never know these things and I go to exam and still get the answers correct. Okay, this is the type of the question we are talking here. Argument. The fatal accident in which a couple was run down by a truck days back has again caught attention on unsatisfactory conditions of a road. So what you do is, once you see the type of the question, what is type of the question here? Type of the question is, from this argument is like a statement, or as we say, is a mentioned fact or a Brahma Satya type. Okay, it is there. You don't have to say actually fatal accident happening or not. You don't have to go into that part. You just have to define it is there. Now, what you can conclude out of these argument or a statement, what you can conclude out of. So for that, you have to look for the keywords. You can just underline those keywords. For example, the keyword here is a couple was run down. Run down is like crushed. It was very fatal. It could lead to a death as well. So first conclusion is the accident happened seriously. So yes, run down, it's a serious thing. You can say, yes, this is the conclusion that we can draw. Second, many accidents have taken place prior to this accident because of unsatisfactory conditions of the road. So unsatisfactory conditions on the road, it is already mentioned. And it is said, has again caught attention. That means it is a frequent phenomenon. It has been happening every now and then type. So yes, this also is the conclusion that you can draw. Both the conclusions are true. Okay, this is just for your information that what kind of questions we are talking. Let me once again tell you what you can do to tackle this question. Some tricks from my side. Following are some critical reasoning tricks for these exams. The easiest way to solve critical reasoning problem is by dividing the problem into parts. Identification of facts, assumption, conclusions will help solving the problem in short time span. Cancel out all incorrect answers. That is helpful because sometimes there will be actually very stupid type of arguments that you can actually cancel out. And then you can go to the options as well. I mean, let's say there are 3 arguments, out of which first is already stupid argument, totally should be ruled out. And then there are options that 1 and 2 are correct, 1 and 3 are correct. So all those who has 1 into it, we can also rule out those as well. So although our critical part of thinking might not be very strong, but our logic if strong, we can shortlist our answers and still get the desired marks. Rephrase the argument in simpler words as this will help in understanding the argument. So yes, it helps. Read the whole argument at least twice. Yes, you should not miss the word because there are sometimes very critical, important word. Something can lead you to the correct course of action. For example, if it is about a national security, a simple word like a person was found doing corruption or selling the secrets. And now that secrets, if the person belonged to some ordinary office of some small shop, then fine. That can't be a severe punishment. That can't lead to a severe punishment. But if a person, the same person, who's working in some ISRO kind of organization, and he is doing the same kind of crime, then of course that can lead to. So sometimes a small word, a single word can also change the course of action. And that's what you have to focus on. Those I call it the critical words. Critical words to be underlined. So underlying important part is also important. So there are tricks and tips. As I said, everything that we build around, it's fine. But only thing that actually going to help you is solving as many questions possible and putting yourself in the role of manager that you can only learn with again the practice. Okay. Let's go directly to the questions now. Let's start with some simple questions first, and then we'll go to the previous year question. What kind of questions have they asked? Now, this is a statement. So you put yourself on a manager role. You are sitting on a round table conference at the center, and there are 2 parties arguing. One side says, the statement is, or agenda of the meeting is, should India have no military force at all? First side says no other countries in the world do not believe in non-violence. Second side says yes, many Indians believe in non-violence. As a manager, what your thought process is going to be? Okay. First of all, should India have no military force at all? At all also keyword. That means you should remove every. You are not talking here about decreasing the size. You are talking about no military force at all. This is a statement. First argument. No other countries in the world do not believe in non-violence. What other countries believe or does not believe in, do not believe in. It shouldn't be a part of our decision making for our country. So no, that is not a strong argument. It could be the argument, but it is not the strong argument. What other country believe in. Had other country believe in non-violence or violence, should not affect our decision making about having our own military or not. Second, yes, many Indians believe in non-violence. So as you can see, the second statement is already not at all strong argument. This argument is not at all strong. Because many Indians believe in non-violence, we should not have military force at all. What about the rest of the Indians? So it is not at all strong argument. So you can just rule out at least, even if you're confused about the first one, you can at least remove all the ones which have two into it. So this you can remove. Only two is strong, you can remove. Either one or two you can remove. Both are strong also you can. Because all these have two as a strong. Two is not at all strong. That you also can. So we have shortlisted up to two parts now. Only one is strong, neither one or two is strong. So once you start doing practice, you get to know that these kind of arguments, what other are doing, what others, what if, what not, what about tree, what about that happened. So all these arguments, they don't stand. They don't stand as a strong arguments. That only you can get with the practice. So this is also not a strong argument. So the answer here is going to be neither one nor two is strong. Let's see one more. Okay, let's see this. Should state lotteries be stopped? Argument number one. Yes, government should not promote gambling habits. It is totally a correct argument. If one side is saying to you, government should not promote gambling habits, and yes, we are talking here state lotteries. That means the government sponsored lotteries. So yes, government should not promote gambling habits. It's a strong argument. And second, no government lose a large amount of revenue. That is also a strong argument. As I said, you don't have to take a decision like upfront decision. Now I am going to do this. I'm going to stop or I'm not going to stop. Or start. Not stop. You are not going to be a decision maker. You are going to just balance the argument. Which argument is strong, you have to decide. So this argument also is a strong argument. Because if you stop doing such things, for example, again, a liquor thing, should government stop the liquor? Again, there is excise and the other revenues associated with it. Okay, so government can regularize it. Government can do another things to manage the control over it. But stopping upfront everything, it's again not a good solution. So yes, no government will lose a large amount of revenue also is a strong argument. So both are strong arguments. Let's see next one. This is a very, very common question. It has been asked already in several exams. Should selection test be the objective rather than descriptive type? Argument. Yes, the assessment of answers to objective type question is fair and impartial. Is it a strong argument? Yes. Because how much ever you think, but for a descriptive, so many things matter. The examiner or the person who is checking the paper, his mental state at that point, his own ideologies behind. Everything can matter into evolving it. But if the paper is objective type, everything is done by machine. So yes, if you are getting 40 out of 50, you are getting 40 out of 50. There can't be question of what if, what not, right? So yes, objective type of questions are fair and impartial. Yes, it is a. Second argument says, no, the descriptive test is certainly better to know. Better tool, who decides? I mean, it's a question. It's a like exam, selection exam on a very large scale. Like 1 lakh people are giving the exam. So descriptive type of paper for that scale, it is not at all feasible. So who deciding this? No, descriptive type is certainly better tool. Certainly better tool, no. It depends what type of exam you are conducting. If it's the exam of, say, UPSC, yes, you have to know the thought process of a person. So descriptive tests are important. If you are taking an exam of on a clerk level or even some sub-staff level, so just having a little objective knowledge or little logical knowledge or ability, it's sufficient, right? So it again matters scale to scale. So this is not a strong argument. This is a strong argument. So we'll say only one is a strong argument. In India, handloom art is in crisis. The Textile Ministry's handloom census shows there has been 33% drop in handloom employment since 95-96. India's handloom exports touch rupees 2246 crore in 14-15. However, this has been continuously declining compared to the previous 4 to 5 years. Since India produces almost 85% of the world's handloom products, we can ill afford to let the handloom sector and handloom art to fall into decline. Each of the following statement weakens the importance of the handloom sector. So all this information about is about the importance of handloom for India, how India contributes everything. But we have to find the statement which will weaken the said argument. First, only 4.3 million people are engaged in handloom weaving and allied activities now against 6.5. So yes, it will weaken it because the number of people engaged into handlooms, if that is getting decreased, it will weaken the arguments of importance of handloom in Indian economy. So yes, this will be definitely the one who will weaken it. Second, handloom is the second largest unauthorized set of economic activities in the country after agriculture that supports rural. So it will in fact strengthen it. It will in fact strengthen the said importance of the handloom. Third, handloom art and weaving centers are clustered all over the country with many of these art genres being popular in international markets. That is also strengthening many of these art being popular in international markets. So it is in fact strengthening. So first one, it is about the number of people engaged being reduced will definitely weaken the argument. So that's why we are going to mark only one as the answer. Easy? India will soon become a nation producing world-leading products developed by a large number of small local entrepreneurs. Which of the following is our valid arguments? So it is a statement that India will soon become a nation producing world-leading products developed by a large number of small local entrepreneurs. First, know the true potential of entrepreneurs can be obtained not by having too many startups, but by ensuring that these startups grow into sizable business. It's totally correct argument. Because I mean, even if we think about the examples, we know that out of 1,000 startups, only 10 or 20 may be the ones who grow later or be successful. The others, they have to stop because of the same thing. It is not about having too many startups, but about the startup should grow into sizable business. So yes, it is a strong argument. Second, yes, starting a business is a hard task and growing it is much easier. So it doesn't even make sense. Starting a business is hard stuck. It may be true, but growing it is much easier. Even if it's true, it is not supporting or opposing it. It is unrelated to what the argument is being. Third, no, we support seeding of businesses, but once these businesses are successful, our policies simply do not seem to help them. That is also for a business to be sustainable over a long period, our policies should be to help them even after they grow into proper business. So that is also true, correct. So both 1 and 3, they are the correct arguments. Option number C should be the answer. Okay, let's see this question from RBI Grade B. The data breach at 19 Indian banks has led to more than 32 lakh debit cards being blocked or recalled is a wake-up call for the banking industry. While the actual number of complaints received so far, 641, and the sum of the money that appeared to have been fraudulently withdrawn, rupees 1.3 crore, are both small relative to the scale of potential data theft. It is disconcerting that it has taken almost 6 months for the system to officially acknowledge the incidents and initiate steps to address them. Private bank appears to have been point of entry for the data criminals who, according to the reports, may have infiltrated using malware at ATMs operated by third-party payment service vendors. The National Payment Corporation of India has been coordinating investigation into incident, and forensic audit is expected to reveal preliminary findings soon. Which course of action should be taken by investigating official? First, recover money which have been fraudulently theft by poachers. So in this question, we have to think about the course of action. So as a consulting officer, investigating official, what your course of action should be. So I'll say, fine, this is doable and it should be done. Recover money, that is important. Second, make aware people do not use e-commerce site for the online purchase. So as we have already discussed, that such kind of harsh measures are not to be taken. Just banning entire e-commerce, it is going to affect way badly than this on the that what is it is affecting on this scale. Completely closing the e-commerce, it's not the option here. So that is not a good course of action. So whatever adds 2 into it, we can just rule it out. So this option goes only 2 and 3. Third, hang the culprit if it is Indian banking official who is responsible. Again, same thing. It is too and harsh a punishment that harshing a culprit. Hanging a culprit. It is too a severe action. And first of all, it is not even up to you as the investing official. It's not even your course of action. Even if it is to be hanged, it is to be by the judiciary. So no, that is not the course of action to be taken. So third also ruled out. So third goes means this option also goes and this option also goes. I can say none of these or only one. But as I said, this is doable. I mean, recovering the money is the good course of action. It is to be done. That means you are going to mark only one. Let's see one more question that they asked. Landmark preservation laws unfairly impinge on the freedom of owners to develop their own property as they see fit. In some cases, owners of hotels, official buildings designated as landmarks have been forbidden to make changes in the original facades or interiors, even though they reasonably believe that changes would enhance the structure and make them more valuable. Which of the following statement? Now, these type of examples, if you can relate it with a real life phenomena or real life incidents, then it will be really helpful for you to understand these questions. For example, Jaipur. There are areas in Jaipur where you have to paint your shop from outside with the same color, and that's what to maintain the pink city status. Mostly, it's the maroon color that you have to put your shop to. So this argument is about that. Now the author, in fact, is against it. Author is saying it is unfairly this laws, they are unfair towards the owners. It is what it's. If they want to change something, they should do it, or they should be able to do it. That is what the author is making the statement. Now it says, which of the following statement, if true, seriously weakens the author's argument? So now if you understand, the author's argument is these type of laws, they are unfair towards the owner, and owner should be able to make the changes as he sees fit. So what is going to weaken this? First, altering the appearance of historic structure sometimes does not enhance its beauty or value. It is not going to weaken it. In fact, if any, it is going to make it strong. So no. Second, in traditional legal doctrine, ownership of a property implies the right to alter at its will. This is nothing to do with, in fact, it is the in contradiction what it is saying here. It's saying the law impinges, but here it says it is allowed. So they are contradictory. See, only buildings for 75 years are, it is nothing said about the age of the building or anything. So this also doesn't make sense. Fourth, landmark designated must be approved by local regulatory bodies before taking effect. So this is also not going to be the ones who weakens the argument. Last, historic building represent a culture heritage which community has a legitimate stake in preserving. So yes, this is going to weaken it because author says that whatever the traditional thing is, a shopkeeper or the owner should be able to change it. But the last part says no, they are our tradition and they need to be preserved. And that's what weakens the argument. That's why it is the answer. E should be the answer. Let's see one more. The percentage of family income spent on entertainment has remained almost the same over the past 20 years. About 12%. When new forms of entertainment become popular, they do not expand their percentage. Instead, they take consumers' spending away from other forms of entertainment. Therefore, the film producers have observed the video boom with concern, knowing that the every dollar spent on rental or video means a dollar spent on movie theater, less spent on movie theater admission. So basically, what this passage is saying, that whatever percentage of money that a family spends on entertainment, it remains same. So if now you are renting the videos, this must be in the era of DVDs and etc. So if you rent those, then you are not going to go to theaters. So you are not going to spend there. But if overall, and the because the percentage of money that you are going to spend is equal. So if you are, let's say, have to spend less for the videos, that means you are going to spend more on the other forms of the entertainment apart from movie theaters, because that's what it says. Knowing that every dollar spent on rental or videos means a dollar less spent. So if you are spending on videos or rentals, you are not going to go to theaters. That's what the argument is. Now it says which of the following, if true, most forcibly undermines. Undermines means against, weakens the argument. Here, the cost of renting a video is generally substantially less than the price of movie theaters admission. So no, it is not going to weaken anything. As I said, the jinx of it is that if you rent videos, you are not going to go to the movies. That's what he says in simple words. So the first is cost of renting video is generally substantially less. So it is not going to weaken the argument. Second, most film producers receive a portion of income from sale of video rights to their movies. Again, it is not going to weaken the argument. Argument, again, I'm telling you, is if you rent video, in simple words, if you rent video, you are not going to go to the movies theaters. See, fears of some film producers that videos would completely supersede movies have not come to pass. Again, no. Fourth, since the start of the video boom means again the renting videos, money spent on form of entertainments other than videos and movies has dropped. So it is not the truth, because it says other forms have been dropped. But no, what we just discussed is renting the video will drop the expense on the forms like movies and other videos. So it's not other than movies, it is the movies who is going to be affected because of the video boom. So this is going to weak the argument. Answer is going to be option number D. So as I discussed, you have to read everything very carefully. And again, at the end of it, if you still feel confused, then don't bother about it. It is not you. It is everyone who is seeing that question will have somewhat confusion for these type of questions. But as I said, you have to take these questions as a learning for your upcoming interviews and GDPS, because there are only 4 questions. It's not that the complete paper is based out of it. There are only 4 questions, out of which 2 are going to be again very, very easy. With as I said, with a very easy argument to rule out or rule in. Only 1 or 2 questions will be where we actually have to think. And then you want to solve, you can solve. If you want to skip, you can skip, considering the cutoff scenario or not. It is not going to bother you much. But when you do practice, that is going to help you to align your thinking ways towards or with in parallel with the ones with the examiner. And you will get to know then what examiner is expecting out of you. And that is going to help you in GDPA and in other forms of the exams. Okay, thank you for watching this. Bye-bye. Have a good day.